good morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday. Today is July 8th. It is Friday. It is awesome. Let's get into it. Welcome to episode 149 of Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief. I'm your host, Dr. Gerald Auger, and over the next 30 plus minutes, I'll be delivering the top cybersecurity news stories of the day to you and providing expert analysis on each of those stories, on what it means to you as a practitioner, how can you apply it at any level within your organization, or if you're looking to break into the industry, as many of us are, and many of us have been at one point in our career. I'm telling you right now, you will be asked, how do you stay current in information security? And this is going to be your dynamite answer. Shout out and thanks to this stream sponsor, the one and only Barricade Cyber Solutions. Cyber criminals have stolen your company's data and derailed your business operations. Barricade Cyber Solutions will help you resolve this ransomware incident and get your business back on track. Love Eric Taylor and the group over there and all the wonderful things that Barricade Cyber Solutions is doing, both for the community and for their client base. I want to remind you, if you hold professional certifications, CISP, CISA, CISM, etc., that require CPEs, the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is worth half a CPE per episode, so 2.5 a week, 10 a month. Be sure to document literally the easiest, and I would argue one of the most enjoyable, certainly the most enjoyable that I know of, way to earn CPEs. And as we grow the show and we go from half an hour to an hour, as it seems, you can always say half a CPE and not have to argue if it's like a 53-minute show that it was a full hour. So I'd stick with the half CPEs. Guys, if you're regulars of the Daily Cyber Threat Briefing, you're going to blow out any annual CPE requirements, whether you do half a day or one a day. So I thought about that last night. It doesn't really matter. If you are live, love it. I see 54 of you in here on a Friday morning. Maybe not, Thursday was the start of the college weekend back in the day, but Friday, that's the start of the business weekend, I suppose. So I'm definitely looking forward to powering through today and getting into the weekend. Last weekend here in the remote studio. If you are on hashtag Team Replay, if you're watching this on replay, thank you so much for making this part of your routine. I know it's great to be here live, but I'm telling you, replay has its values. You get to jump around. If this, morning pleasantries, you can skip over that. So if you don't want to hear the chit chat when the screen turns to news, then we've begun the show. I do want to remind you, hashtag Team Replay, do drop a comment that you are here so you can get credit for the CPEs, right? So just say something in chat. It burns it into the video for live people, and you're good to go on CPEs. Team chat or Team Replay, put it in chat. In YouTube, by the way, do it on YouTube because it's way easier to find if you do it on YouTube comments, and I will never take the videos down. YouTube will have to pry the comments from my cold, dead hands before I pull them down. All right. So we will get into the news in the next minute or so, but for, the next minute or so, I would be honored to welcome folks into chat. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Lupe, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope the GRC role is everything that you hope it was and that you're well underway and crushing your first 90 days. Kimberly's talking about picking up her new Simply Cyber merch, the I Heart NIST shirt. Yeah, I love that. Real quick, guys, if you don't know, I've got a couple things going on over on the store, whatever you want to call it. And you could see it here. Actually, through the next couple days, because I have all this new merch, through the next couple days, through Sunday, basically, if you want, everything in the store is 15% off. So you can get the Team Replay shirt or the I Heart NIST baseball jersey down there at the bottom left. That design was from Jack Scott. So thanks, Jax, for that. I had been thinking about that, and then we kind of collabed on it. So definitely check that out. You could do ! Merch. I see some people dropping it already in chat. Thank you, chat. Hey, Ethan. Hey, Elroy Judson. I don't know if anyone caught the 5 reasons why CISOs only last 18 months. Renegade live stream I did last night. It was a good time. You can catch that on replay. I'm actually going to cut that up into a shorter produced video of 5 things that why CISOs quit. Hey, Chris Weaver, good to see you. The real Dre, I do not know why you're unable to connect to Discord. I don't really have anything in the way of um, things that would stop you. So I'm going to drop the link to Discord right now. Maybe you can, I don't know, connect with me afterwards or one of the mods. I can help you. But everybody, like, there's thousands of people in Discord, so that shouldn't be an issue. Hey, Stella, thanks for the kind words on the stream last night. Brian, thanks so much. Good. I love it. All right, guys. Let me just take a couple more slugs off the old coffee. Jax, hope you're doing well. Justin Loken, winner of TCM Academy. Oh, by the way, guys, really quick. If you haven't done it yet, the raffle from TCM Academy's Practical Ethical Hacking course, today is the last day. We're giving away three vouchers for the full TCM Academy Practical Ethical Hacking course. It is a dynamite course, so if you don't know about it, you're definitely going to be interested in it. The way to enter it today, to make it fair for Team Replay yesterday, you have to go to the Discord server, Simply Cyber, and then you have to go to the giveaway channel. And in the giveaway channel, there is a celebration emote looking thing. See if I took a screenshot to make it really easy to share this knowledge with y'all. Of course, I can't find it. Fail. Oh, here it is. Look it. So if you go to the Discord server, and you can see here the giveaway chat is on the top left. The giveaway channel, excuse me. And then when you're in the giveaway channel, if you just hit this, you see this like red emote thing with the celebration jazz coming out and the one next to it. You just click on that, and you'll be entering. Okay. So that's how you enter. And at 8:23 today, you could see it's going to announce it. So we will interrupt the broadcast in order to announce our winner. So good luck to everyone. Hopefully you still have a chance, right? But it was really designed to help Team Replay get involved. All right, guys, let's get started with the show today. Let's get the show going today. All right, I'm going to kill the music, BSEC, so as to not overwhelm the broadcast. All right, guys, let's get into our daily threat briefing.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
It's Friday, July 8th, 2022. Cisco and Fortinet release security patches for multiple products. Cisco on Wednesday rolled out patches for 10 security flaws spanning multiple products, one of which is rated at critical 9.0 in severity and could be weaponized to conduct absolute path traversal attacks. The issues, tracked as CVE 2022-20812 and 20813, affect Cisco Expressway Series and Cisco Telepresence video communication servers and could allow a remote attacker to overwrite arbitrary files or conduct null poisoning attacks on affected devices. In a related development, Fortinet addressed as many as 4 high vulnerabilities affecting FortiAnalyzer, FortiClient, FortiDeceptor, and FortiNAC, which, if successful, may allow an authenticated attacker to execute arbitrary code, retrieve and delete files, and access MySQL databases, or even permit a local unprivileged actor to escalate to system permissions.
Ugh, Jesus. Okay, so here's the deal with this one. If you're running Cisco or Fortinet in your environment, this is pretty routine. Okay, so like I'm not saying like level 9 vulnerability is routine, but Cisco and Fortinet, they're very popular products. They have all sorts of different levels of solution. They come out with patches all the time. This should be normal operations for your network engineering team if you're big enough to have one of those, or for your IT team if you're a little bit smaller. This just needs to be baked into vulnerability management. And then from a GRC perspective, you may want to look at these new vulnerability. Well, vulnerability management can fall under GRC unless you're bigger, and then it's its own thing. But whoever is responsible for vulnerability management may want to look at a couple of these and see if it's an immediate issue that needs to be remediated. And I'm sorry to say this, before the weekend. Okay, you might have to do an emergency patch, right? So in large organizations, you would do an emergency change control because you don't want to wait till like Tuesday next week to put in the request for the change, because this is pretty serious. One thing that I will point out, a couple things I'll point out. One, the worst one is the CVS score 9.0. Remember, CVSS scores are basically 0 to 10, 10 being the worst, and it's a common vulnerability score. So whenever we talk about vulnerabilities, guys, this one has a score of 9.0, but you've got to remember a Cisco device, right? Like, let's just say it's an ASA network appliance or something. If it's facing the internet, that is a way higher risk than if it is, three segments back in an R&D like network segment, right? So the score cannot account for your environment and your use cases and your business operations. So don't ever take that score as like hashtag truth, right? Like, it's a great starting point. You should definitely sort by number, highest first, and then work your way down. But like, you've got to remember that that's a temporal score that's based on multiple factors, including your situation and whether or not it's actually being exploited in the wild. Okay, so that 9.0, it's a starting place. It's not the definitive end state. Okay, the next thing I want to point out really quickly, I'll point out two other things on this. One, they say that well, by the way, it's the Cisco Expressway series and telepresence video communication services. So if you're not even using that, this is way less of an issue. Remember, Cisco makes a million products. So when it just says like the here's the thing, guys, splashy headline, Cisco releases patches. Well, Cisco has a million products, right? So if you're not running these products, if you're say you're running ASAs or something, like, this doesn't even affect you, right? So you can this is why we do these things, guys. You can have a sip of coffee, you can be level-headed, you can think fast and think slow at the same time and be like, "You know what? This is an issue, not for my organization. Maybe I'll communicate it to the network engineers just so they have visibility over this, and then I'm going to go get another cup of coffee. High five me." Okay? They do say that a remote attacker could overwrite arbitrary files. You might be like, "What's the big deal if I overwrite Carl's uh, July 4th photos?" When you overwrite arbitrary files, the thing is you can overwrite system files, right? And if you have a malicious Trojanized version of an executable, or you can put a unpatched version of the same executable and overwrite the operating not operating system, but like system files, right? You can maintain the efficacy of the network appliance, but then now you can insert your own kind of malware, or leave it exposed to exploitation later on down the road for persistence or something like that. And then the final thing, who knew there was so much fruit on this bush, right? On this first story, right? I'm picking fruit all day long on this baby. The final thing I want to point out, if you are if you are running Expressway series and telepresence, right? And you're like, thank God I wore my brown pants to work today. I do want you to take heart. It does require, at least this one CVE, which is the worst one, it requires authenticated remote attacker to have administrator read write privileges on the application. Okay. So guys, my understanding just based on this is that this is like, it's really bad if it's unauthenticated remote attacker. That's the worst, right? Authenticated remote attacker means that not only does an attacker have to find one of these and you have to be vulnerable to it, but also they have to have an actual account on the device to be able to authenticate to it to then execute the exploitation. So it's good for us, right? As practitioners, we have a couple pieces of defense in place, pieces of protection in place. It's not great. You don't want to leave this exposed over the weekend if you've got internet facing VCS type stuff. But I'm just saying, it's much less about the it's much less spitting your coffee at your monitor and getting up and running like a fool to the data center to pull cables out, and much more like shooting an email to the networking team and being like, "Where we at with this, brah?"
Canada's RCMP has been using powerful malware to snoop on people's communications. Canada's National Police Force has described for the first time how it uses spyware to infiltrate mobile devices and collect data, including by remotely turning on the camera and microphone of suspects' phones or laptops. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police says it only uses such tools in the most serious cases when less intrusive techniques are unsuccessful. But until now, the force has not been open about its ability to employ malware to hack phones and other devices, despite using the tools for several years. Between 2018 and 2020, the RCMP said it deployed this technology in 10 investigations. In the document, the police force says it needs to use spyware because traditional wiretaps are much less effective than they once were.
All right. I almost don't want to do this, but I'm gonna do it. But I'm a little nauseous about it.
That's the sound of the police.
Okay. Okay, so check this out, guys. This is kind of egregious. Like again, I'm not some type of like overwhelming tinfoil hat conspiracy theory guy, but this right here, Canada of all places, I feel like Canada gets a pass because it's all a boot. Like it's like I don't know what Canadians sound like, but that's what they sound like in my head. Listen, this right here, they're the friggin' police, and they're using malware on targets right now. Like this is why we need checks and balances, people. And I see Chad already blowing up on this thing. Okay, so Canada says, listen, we only use it for the most serious situations. It's like define serious, my friend, because you know what? If Justin Trudeau is about to lose power as the prime minister or the grand chancellor or whatever, I know I'm not cultured, people. Whatever the Trudeau is, as far as like the leader of Canada, say he's about to lose his seat or whatever. Well, you know what? It could be serious to the stability of democracy or the stability of the government in Canada for Justin Trudeau to lose this seat. So let's use this spyware on his opponent, right? Do you see how quickly you can twist things? Or um like Roe versus Wade is pretty popular right now in the United States, and the right for a woman to choose whether or not to have an abortion. Okay, so like let's move that over into Canada. Well, let's say that the ruling party is like it's all pro-life, and then there's like this faction of people that are pro-choice. Well, that seems like a serious concern. You see what I'm saying? Like this needs to be like the fact that this just came out. Like, come on, like that's a bad look. That's a bad look, and in Canada. So, anyways, it sounds like here's the thing, guys. Here's another thing that I want to just point out. Um, they said that I don't know where it is right now because I'm trying to talk and look, but they said that they've only used it in 10 instances, right? Okay, I've got news for you guys. Here's the reality. Like, let's say like 10 instances is what they've documented. And I'm not saying that there's like this shadow cabal that's using it over here. What I'm saying is in real life, this is like a real takeaway to map to daily practice as a cybersecurity practitioner. Okay. So check this out. Let's say that in the IT department, there's like 5 admins, right? 5 sysadmins and maybe 2 domain admins, right? Like there's 2 guys or a guy and a woman who have been there a while, and they're like, we're the domain admins. It's like, okay, great. So there should be like 2 domain admin accounts, right? So you could say, well, domain admins have the most reach and the most power. So we only have 2. And then you go look in AD and there's like 14 because as people have come and gone, they didn't disable them, and there's domain admins. There's a couple service accounts that have domain admin level permissions. All of the IT admins have it. The CIO has it because she asked for it. You know what I mean? Like this is the reality. The reality is the 10 that they're talking about, yeah, they're definitely documented. But like, oh hey, like we're in a really time sensitive case right now. Can you just throw that Canadian Pegasus, that Maple Leaf version of Pegasus over on this guy real quick, just real quick. We just gotta ping their phone and figure out where they are. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying shenanigans, but the fact that they said there's only 10, there is a gray area of potential misuse over here that would just never be documented because it would need to be clandestine. They wouldn't want it documented.
Online programming IDEs can be used to launch remote cyberattacks. Security researchers are warning that hackers can abuse online programming learning platforms to remotely launch cyberattacks, steal data, and scan for vulnerable devices simply by using a web browser. At least one such platform, known as DataCamp, allows threat actors to compile malicious tools, host or distribute malware, and connect to external services. DataCamp provides integrated development environments, IDEs, to close to 10 million users who want to learn data science using various programming languages and technologies like R, Python, Shell, Excel, Git, and SQL. The IDE also allows users to import Python libraries, download and compile repositories, and then execute compiled programs. In other words, anything an industrious threat actor needs to launch a remote attack directly from within the DataCamp platform.
Okay. So, my initial thoughts here on this one. So, online IDEs, Jupyter notebooks, Google compute shells, right? These environments where you get like a shell or you can like get access to compilers and stuff like that has existed for a while. This isn't crazy new. There's two things going on here. So before you're like, oh my god, my pants are on fire. Think about this, right? So like if I launch an attack from a VM in AWS, or I launch an attack from my laptop in my house, or I launch an attack from some like ephemeral shell at data camp, it doesn't matter. It's still an attack coming from a system. So everything that you can do at data camp, you can do from any computer, right? So that's not the novel thing here. First of all, the novel thing here is that you would be attacking from an IP range that is mapped to the data camp, you know, public IP range, right? So they probably have it natted behind, and there's private IP ranges and stuff like that, and dynamically up and down. But at some point, it's going to come out on the internet through data camp or whomever IDE's front door. So now you've got an extra level of difficulty as a defender because the attack is coming, but it's difficult to block like known good addresses because these data camp things or these IDEs, right? Say it's Google Compute Shell, they are going to be used for good purposes all over the place. So it's very difficult to like block this traffic and allow this traffic, like if you're doing it at the domain or IP level, right? So now the so basically like you lose out on the firewall piece of it, and that's probably the more power um, of the attack, like a higher success rate because you can't block malicious domains. Now, the other thing to point out is that it would be a bit incumbent, and again, this is where IT and InfoSec collide. It's incumbent upon these remote ID or these ephemeral IDE services to provide some level of containerization, accountability, right? You could create a fake account and log in, right? So they should, and you could come in from a VPN. So if they won't really know who you are or where you're coming from. So you're anonymous in that way. You could create piece of, I'm kind of working through this in real time here. You could create a piece of malware and launch it. They would see it potentially and maybe block you there. But at the same time, how are these people supposed to know that like you don't own the resource that you're banging against, right? You could be a pen tester trying to pen test your own systems and apps. Completely legitimate, completely allowed. So they can't block that or stop that. So I guess maybe I'll go back and check afterwards and chat. But like as I'm thinking, the novelty isn't the attacking from here, right? Or the ability to like launch attacks. It's the kind of hiding in the noise, hiding in the public sphere, the anonymity of it. Um, yeah. So Josh Mason does not like the title, but anyways, so just know, like basically um, the key takeaway here is that any tool set, whether it's online, cloud based, on your computer, whatever, can be used for good and bad. Like that, at the end of the day, that is a fact.
QNAP warns of new Checkmate ransomware targeting NAS devices. Network-attached storage vendor QNAP warned customers to secure the devices against another attack, this time using Checkmate ransomware to encrypt data. QNAP says the attacks are focused on internet-exposed QNAP devices with the SMB service enabled and accounts with weak passwords that can be easily cracked in brute force attacks. Checkmate is a recently discovered ransomware strain first deployed in attacks around May 28th of this year.
Okay, so it's another day. It's another QNAP story. I do have a QNAP sounder officially. I'm open to feedback from the community, but this is what I was thinking for anytime there's a QNAP story. Listen, man, QNAP, like instead of warning of new, targeted ransomware, how about you like warn of upcoming patches, right, and upcoming better functionality? Jesus. All right, so here's the deal. If you run QNAP, it's probably been bricked like 3 times over already. You've probably gone out and actually purchased like a different NAS solution. But if you are still running QNAP NAS devices, or if it's your business and like the CFO is like, why are we going to buy more NAS servers when we already have the QNAP NAS server? And you're like, okay, because like every week I have to patch it or fix it or recover it, and we've lost all the data because QNAP's tough. Just be mindful. Basically, they said, by the way, they said that this Checkmate ransomware is scanning for SMB shares and I think they said default credentials or weak credentials. You should not be using default creds, period, end of story. You should never. Like, you know what? Okay, you know what really pisses me off? Okay, hold on. Let me get my spicy thing ready. You know what bothers me? Like, really bothers me? Vendors are getting better at it, but like, why? It's like, it's not even a heavy lift. It's trivial to introduce the functionality where when you log in for the first time to manage something, it forces you to change the password. And yes, you can do a hard password. You can do a hard reset on the device to reset it to initial firmware and have that default password again. But why can't it be a freaking industry standard to make that default password change on initial login? Like a lot of vendors are doing it, but come on. Like it's a freaking check. Like log in, is password this or is it first time? Like is there a tally? And like there's several, whatever computer science related ways to solve that problem. It's not a freaking quantum computing challenge. It is a login with default creds. If we did that, this wouldn't work, right? Among other things, all of these default creds are no creds. Come on. It's gross. And IoT devices, I'm not asking you to bake in information security, right? I'm not asking you to harden the device and make it difficult for consumers to unharden it and soften it in order to work for their use cases. I'm asking you to make the default password force change on login. God damn. Like it's like
It's looking spicy.
it's such an easy solution to such a big problem. It would cut out so much of this garbage. All right, let's get paid by CISO here, or let's have CISO series run their commercial. I'm fine. I'm cool.
Thanks to today's episode sponsor, Votero. Can you trust that your content and data is free of malware and ransomware? With Votero, you can. Votero removes evasive and unknown malware from content in milliseconds without impacting file fidelity or usability. It even works on password-protected and zipped files. Plus, it's an API, so it integrates with everything, including Microsoft 365. You can learn more at Votiro.com. That's Votiro.com. North Korean hackers take.
We need a hot mess on fire emote. I'll work on that one, Kimberly. I do have like I don't know, like 7 or 8 emote slots for the squad members. So I'll be soliciting submissions for hot mess on fire. Maybe like a garbage dumpster with fires coming out of it. Like this is fine. All right. So really quick, let's do a couple things here, guys. We have passed 8:23, so we are raffling off the TCM Academy oh my gosh, with all the windows, the TCM Academy Practical Ethical Hacking course. I do want to tell everybody we've been doing it live on stream giveaways, but I wanted to be fair to all of our community members who are hashtag Team Replay. I know sometimes it's us, sometimes even me. Like next Tuesday, I'll be hashtag Team Replay. More about that later. But they are just as important part of the community, whether it's all the time Team Replay or it's intermittent Team Replay. So I wanted to make sure that they had that option. So let's check the raffle. I know you guys won't be able to see it, but screenshot and share it here. The giveaway is, oh boy, yeah, we definitely see some winners in here. Yes, winner, chicken dinner. Okay, here we go. Bear with me, people. Bear with me. I've got to save the file, and then I got to save it locally, and then the screenshot, and all these steps. This is how the sausage is made, people. Okay, here we go. So I want to. Come on. Give me the little over. Come on. Oh, you brat. Stop being bratty. Okay, cool. So shout out to Colonel Panic with Leet Speak Writing, Just Ben, longtime community member Just Ben, and CloudSec Todd. Hopefully you guys can see this. It looks like a little difficult to read. There we go. Those are our winners for the practical ethical hacking course for today, Friday. I know some of you are in chat right now. I hope at least one Team Replay member won. Colonel Panic, Just Ben, CloudSec Todd, connect with me on Discord. I just need your email address. I'm bundling all the winners up and sending them over to Zach Hill. And they're getting it. Okay, so look right here. The raffle was done, and it was open for 24 hours. The raffle is closed now for Friday. We gave 3 winners. We gave away 8 vouchers for TCM Academy's Practical Ethical Hacking course this week. Again, thank you so much to Heath. AKA Maverick. I'm not sure if he's going by Maverick now or not. I saw he wrote that on the PNPT certification sheet. And Zach Hill over at TCM Academy. Good guys, and appreciate. Oh, by the way, like I've mentioned it every day today. The reason that we're doing TCM Academy, Simply Cyber is now an officially affiliated with TCM Academy. So if you're interested in checking out all the courses that they run, right below here, if you're on YouTube with me, there is a link that says something about like learn, ethical hacking from the best. It might specifically go to this course. But if you're interested in the offensive side of things, the red side of things, TCM Academy is good. They're starting to offer other areas within cybersecurity, but they're heavily focused on the offensive side of things. I myself, if you've taken the GRC Master Class, you know that I know a thing or two about GRC. I'm actually considering doing a full practical enterprise risk assessment methodology where it's basically a use case course where you are like my junior analyst and I'm the senior analyst, and we go in and we execute a full enterprise risk assessment from planning to execution to reporting to strategy. So stay tuned. I might be doing that with them, and I get one of these really cool logos. That's kind of like why I'm interested in doing it. All right, let's keep rolling.
Taking aim at help with Maui ransomware. The FBI, CISA, and the Treasury Department said in an alert that the hackers are using a kind of ransomware dubbed Maui to go after healthcare and public health organizations. Cybersecurity company Stairwell published an analysis of the ransomware, saying that it differs in major ways from traditional ransomware as a service offerings, lacking several key features such as an embedded ransom note or automated means of transmitting encryption keys to attackers. Instead, they said they believe that Maui is manually operated, in which operators will specify which files to encrypt when executing it.
Okay, so I caught part of that. This is a little surprising. Okay, so here's the thing. North Korea, they're talking about ransomware out of North Korea, okay? North Korea, as far as I know, has 3 main cyber capabilities or like 3 teams, right? 3 departments. One is for doing cyber operations on their own citizens. One is doing cyber operations on adversaries of North Korea, whatever that is. And then the third is Lazarus Group, and that's for getting money to fund North Korea's like GDP, basically. This right here is very odd because this doesn't map into anything, right? Maui ransomware, they're saying it's very heavily manually done. It lacks a lot of advanced functionality. So it sounds like it's with a different faction, or it's maybe it's like people who operate in North Korea that have like cycled out or retired out of those nation state jobs and just have the capabilities to do it. It's very weird. They are targeting healthcare organizations, so that sucks. Obviously, if you're in the United States, the fact that they are manually doing it just means that it's going to be less widespread, right? Like it's not spray and pray. So I don't know. It's either one of two things. Either it's super sophisticated where they're going to be targeting very, very, very specific critical files, or it's super unsophisticated script kiddie level shenanigans where they don't know how to automate it. They don't know how to extend it. They don't know how to add that advanced functionality. But it's just another variant of ransomware. The key takeaway here is I would look at the FBI CISA advisory, especially if you work in healthcare, which I have worked in healthcare before. I'm friends with a CISO or two who work in healthcare. I'll be sending this to them unless they're in chat right now. And, that's it. You just, this is a classic threat briefing thing. Okay, like assess the intelligence and then operationalize it. Are we at risk? Realistically, you should be doing tons of things to prevent ransomware, protect from and recover quickly from a ransomware attack. The fact that it's Maui ransomware shouldn't matter. You should never be making tactical decisions based on specific things like this in 99% of the cases.
OpenSSL version 3.0.5 fixes a flaw that could potentially lead to remote code execution. The maintainers of the OpenSSL project fixed a high-severity heap memory corruption issue tracked as CVE 2022-2274, affecting the popular library. This bug makes the RSA implementation with 2048 private keys incorrect on such machines and triggers a memory corruption during the computation. A remote attacker can exploit the memory corruption to achieve code execution on the machine while performing the computation. The vulnerability was introduced in OpenSSL version 3.0.4, which was released on June 21st of this year.
Okay, I'm not going to spend a terrible amount of time on this one. You would use OpenSSL to encrypt communications with web servers or internally or whatever. The key risk here is that internet-facing web servers are using this version of OpenSSL. So you can use things like Shodan to quickly find these things. Again, if you're using monitor.shodan.io, if you are responsible professionally for protecting an organization, or you're an MSSP and you protect many, you could use monitor.shodan.io to help you be alerted proactively about these things. The key takeaway here is I would scan, either look at your software inventory if you have one of those, LOL, or do a scan of your internet facing IP range. Look to see if you're running OpenSSL version 3.04 or lower. And if you are, or work with this group, your IT group or your application group of it, because it's like at the it's technically at the operating system level, but it's going to affect the web applications or websites and stuff like that. So you want to coordinate with applications, maybe the marketing team, right? If the website goes down, and IT, right? This is fairly straightforward fix. I will point out that this is not a stay up all night and work through the weekend kind of thing. It could, see how it says partially, right? Like the vulnerability is there. Just because there's a vulnerability doesn't mean that it's actively being exploited. This is a heap memory corruption issue. So first you'd have to, I'm not going to get into all the details of how you would do that, but you'd have to both have an exploit to find the piece in memory, write to it, cause the corruption, not have the executable collapse and do a seg fault on the server, then have code to run like shell code to run in the memory space. Like, this is not a trivial thing to exploit. And right now, the way that they said it, it's not like there's like a GitHub page where you can just download or put it in Metasploit or whatever like that. So this is something to take heed on, but not something to lose your mind about, and just be mindful of it, right? OpenSSL has been around for a while. This, it's widely deployed.
Hack allows drone takeover via Express LRS protocol. A radio control system for drones is vulnerable to remote takeover thanks to a weakness in the mechanism that binds transmitter and receiver. The popular protocol for radio-controlled aircraft called Express LRS can be hacked in only a few steps, according to a technical advisory published by NCC Group last week. The hack utilizes a highly optimized over-the-air packet structure, giving simultaneous range and latency advantages. The vulnerability in the protocol is tied to the fact that some of the information sent via over-the-air packets is link data that a third party can use to hijack the connection between drone operator and drone. Anyone with the ability to monitor traffic between an Express LRS transmitter and receiver can hijack the communication, which could result in full control over their target craft.
Okay, so this isn't surprising. Okay, so here, really quick, I'll talk about this and then I'll show this thing. Okay, so drones are becoming way more popular, both for like photographers, like like all sorts of art type things. We're also seeing it obviously used in military capabilities. Um, Obviously, the controller of the drone needs to communicate with the drone, right? Obviously. So how does that communication work? Obviously, it happens wirelessly. You're not going to run like an 80-foot cable up to the drone, right? So that communication path becomes an opportunity for compromise, right? So if you can intercept a couple of things, right? One, if you can cause a conflict, right? Intercept it in a way that causes it to get all noisy and distracted, you could cause the drone to stop receiving data, and then the drone's going to have to autopilot. Sometimes the drones are set to return to where it came from. Sometimes they'll just hang out and steady. Sometimes they'll just lose their mind and go wherever they want. That's one. Two, in the more diabolical situation, which is what they're talking about here, is where you start sending new commands to it. And how could you do this, right? If you have a really strong signal generator, like something that can overwhelm the one coming out of the controller, you can like basically not overwhelm, but like take over the drone listening to what it's supposed to get, right? So you can basically like scream at it, right? So it's not going to be able to hear the soft velvety tones coming out of the drone controller. It's going to hear your signal screaming in its face, right? And then you could take it over. Okay, so what are the possible applications? First of all, drones aren't free, right? The really good ones are wicked expensive. So you could obviously, like, my initial thought is, as this gets more widespread, you're going to see punks crashing these things. You're going to see punks or like slightly more sophisticated people stealing them, right? So if you fly in your drone and then I take it over and fly it to me, guess what? It's my drone now. Like, look at me. I'm the captain, right? So that's another kind of obvious thing. I saw someone in chat, Eddie Del Castillo's talking about Amazon delivery. Yeah, as drones become more widespread for commercial application, you could steal people's products. I mean, we've even seen, I don't know if this is like just they're piloting the idea or if this is actually mainstream. But hey, Gibbs, I've seen a couple instances where there's like drone cabs where people get in and the drone flies them to where they're going. I've seen one where a guy stands on a drone and it takes them somewhere. So now we have humans involved. So obviously you could kidnap someone. You could send them out 2 miles to sea and then just crash it, and they'll probably drown at sea. So there's a lot of like applications here, and it gets a little nefarious quickly. The final thing I was going to say, like basically anytime there's a communication channel, you have to be mindful of it, right? Because it's an attack vector. It's not the sexiest attack vector, but in the world of wireless, it's a great attack vector. The one thing I wanted to point out, this was from 4th of July. I saw a video of this. there would like some of the more advanced drones are doing like coordinated, synchronized drone things. This is the Star Trek Enterprise. Those are all drones, lighting different colors, and like because they're all coordinated and stuff, they can make pictures like this, and they can move and they can fly. And you're seeing it at like the Olympic Games, like crazy, really cool, almost artwork with the drones. But can you imagine, if you will, the very first thing I thought of when I heard the story? Can you imagine if somebody overwhelmed the radar or the communication thing? This would be super, super complicated. But can you imagine if this turned into Rick Astley's like Never Gonna Give You Up? Like that would be the ultimate Rickroll if you could do a coordinated drone swarm into a Rickroll. That would be hilarious. Um, yeah, I see some people talking about killer drones. Yeah, that's another use case I didn't even think about. Personally, I'm taking a note here. I'm probably going to go down a show hole or a YouTube hole or whatever. Um, Swarms, Google Swarms. I just wrote Google Swarms, drone swarms. I'll be investigating that. But anyways, long story short, this is one of those ones where like it really doesn't apply to you. This is just like, to me, this is something that you should be mindful of as kind of like an evolution as technology changes. Threat actors are beginning to look at this type of technology and exploit it. Hacking wireless signals has been around forever. I did a master's thesis back in like 2006 on like wireless neighborhood hacking and security and everything like that. So this has been around for like a while. This is just a new protocol, a new technology, same old trick.
Virtual world tech company owner arrested over alleged $45 million investment fraud scheme. The owner of several metaverse companies has been arrested over an alleged investment fraud scheme that defrauded more than 10,000 victims of over $45 million. Last week, the U.S. Department of Justice said that Neil Chandran, a Las Vegas resident, was arrested over allegations of fraud. The 50-year-old owns companies operating under the Verse brand, VIRSE, including Free V Lab, Studio V, V Delivery, and V Market, all spelt with a VI. Chandran's companies developed virtual world technologies, including their own cryptocurrency for use in the company's own metaverse, and it calls itself the first virtual universe of people, places, and content accessible from any internet-enabled device on this planet.
Straight cash, homie. All right. So I actually watched a CoffeeZilla video on this guy. Okay, this owner, this dude has been, his name's Neil Chandran. He has been involved with so many scams, so many like fraudulent Ponzi schemes. This dude is a bad dude. This guy loves to like make himself look like he's like ultra important and ultra connected and ultra executive, fancy suits, but he is a con man, a charlatan, a straight schemer. Honestly, I hope this dude goes to jail for a while. Okay. Here's the deal, people. I know they're talking about like the term crypto winter right now. There is so much freaking fraud going on in the crypto space. I'm not even talking about NFTs. I'm talking about all these different coins that anyone can spin up. And then you've got con men basically like hawking these unrealistic vaporware scenarios out to people. And remember, if you don't own the wallet, you don't own the currency. Someone else does. And there's so much rife situations going on. Like Celsius was another one that just went under. It's unrelated to this, but Celsius went under. And basically, what like, oh, you buy into their platform, and then they like pay themselves. Like they'll give you like Celsius coins, or like they'll give you their own coins. Like he talked about this Verse coin, right? The coin's worth nothing, nothing. And dude, I'm telling you right now, if I gave you 1,000,000 simply cyber bucks, sounds great. You got 1,000,000, but guess what? They're worth $0, right? I could give you 1,000,000,000 and you still got the same value. Anything times zero is freaking zero. Meanwhile, so like everybody in chat, we got 117 people right now. We all give $10 to this dude, right? Okay, we're gonna be million. Oh, by the way, okay, we're gonna be millionaires, right? For $10. And now he's just got $1,000 and he leaves. And like we have no retribution. There's no FDIC. There is no protection for your investment. In fact, if you read the fine print, it basically says that they can take your money and screw you. So I hope this dude gets sent. I hope this dude gets the maximum punishment. It's absolutely scum to steal. Like, it's scum to steal people's money and do it with a smile on your face. Like, that's a special kind of sociopath. So, anyways, this should indicate there, like, in my opinion, there is no good use case for crypto, right? It's a solution looking for a problem, and there's so many con men promising ridiculous returns on investments, promising the moon, making it look pretty, selling sex, right? Or sexy, right? They've got fast looking cars, cool clothes. And the reason they have all that crap is because they're taking your money and buying it. It's not because they're making money hand over fist and they're going to tell you the secret. It just bothers me. It really bothers me, right? People work so hard to cobble together some money, and then these people freaking just take it. And like, I don't even know how they sleep at night. It's gross.
Remember, we return to our live slate of great Friday content later.
Okay, so that is this week's episode. I want to remind everybody, I know I spelled the word neuro incorrectly. That's fine. Next Thursday, if you attended the CISO, like top 5 reasons CISO's only last 18 months live stream yesterday, then you know about the Thursday live streams. Every Thursday, with some exceptions, at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I host the Simply Cyber live 1 hour live stream. It is an hour stream where we interview industry experts. We have a banger for you next Thursday, July 14th at 4:30 p.m. Listen, neurodiversity is called the invisible disability because when I look at someone with who's in a wheelchair, I can tell they are in a wheelchair. They have disability. Like, we have to accommodate for that. Someone who's autistic, Asperger's, ADD, ADHD, you look at them and you can't tell the difference between them and someone else who does not have that disability, right? If you want to call it a disability or that condition, right? So it doesn't get the attention it deserves. And there is so much like, oh, diversity, inclusion, oh, equitable situations, all these things. Well, in this world of cybersecurity, what are we doing to help people with neurodiversity or neurodivergent conditions get jobs in the industry? And like, all the way back to like the interview, is the interview set up to accommodate their particular disability, right? And there's a million different things, right? Like, as I began to dig into this topic, it was interesting to me to find out all these different things. We're going to be joined by 4 international cybersecurity recruiters on the panel. Some of you may recognize them because we had them on last year for a great panel. They'll be talking about their specific countries of origin and what the cybersecurity hiring process looks like for neurodivergent candidates. We'll also be talking about how employers can be more inclusive if they truly want to put their actions where their mouth is, right? If they say, oh, we're wicked equitable, but we don't do anything for neurodivergent candidates, it's like, yeah, you're all talk, no show. We will be joined by Nate O'Reilly, a good friend of Simply Cyber, friend of mine. He is neurodivergent. He's also incredibly smart, also incredibly successful in the cybersecurity space. So he'll be representing that voice of the neurodivergent candidate. Guys, this is going to be a wicked awesome show. So if you are neurodivergent, definitely check it out. If you work with any type of neurodivergent organization, please let them know about this. I tried like hell. I have been doing like this. I've been prepping this for 8 months. And I reached out to multiple organizations trying to get them to get involved, to promote it. And it became it became a mess. So I actually pared it down. And this is, what I came up with as the best option. But if you do know about that, I would love for this information to get out to businesses that want to hire neurodivergent candidates and be equitable to diversity and inclusive, and for people like you who may be neurodivergent and thinking that the system is stacked against you. Okay. So that's definitely what we're going to be doing there. Congratulations to our raffle winners. Please connect with me on Discord to get me your email address and we can do what we need to do. Guys, I want to thank all of you. It is Friday, July 8th. We had a banging week. I will be back Monday at 8 a.m. to do the show. On Tuesday, we have a special guest stream host. I will be, like basically I'm at my remote studio, but I'll be heading back to Massachusetts. Not Massachusetts. I'll be heading back to my main studio the following weekend, and I have one more thing that I want to do here that's going to take me away from the daily cyber threat brief on um, on Tuesday morning. So stay tuned to see who your guest host will be that day. Guys, thank you so much for all you do. As I always say, if you enjoyed this, got value, hit the like button, subscribe, all the YouTube things that you're supposed to do. But more importantly, if you think that somebody in your network can get value from being part of this community, and more importantly, consuming this daily cyber threat brief, I will die on this hill. I really honestly believe that this daily cyber threat briefing has multiple applications and multiple value to people who want to work or are working in the industry. I did this daily cyber threat brief for years by myself before I realized that others might actually enjoy it. I listen to this podcast, and I digest and drink coffee every morning, and it's helped me in my career. So, anyways, thank you all very much. Be good. Enjoy the weekend. We definitely earned it. I'll see you guys on Monday at 8 a.m. Take care.